When a woman hears a compliment from an older man, it carries a certain weight, not because of age, not because of experience alone, but because it often comes with intention, clarity, and a kind of emotional maturity she rarely finds elsewhere. Women today are surrounded by noise, casual flattery, generic lines, and compliments that sound copied, pasted, and reused 1,000 times. But when an older man speaks with truth, presence, and sincerity, something shifts inside her. She doesn't just hear the words, she feels them, she feels seen, she feels valued, she feels understood. And that is where real connection begins. Women don't want superficial praise, they don't want hollow admiration, they can sense insincerity instantly. What they crave, deeply and quietly, is recognition. Recognition of effort, of character, of growth, of softness, of strength. Recognition of who they are beneath the surface. Compliments like these don't inflate her ego, they nourish her spirit. They remind her that she is more than her appearance, more than her imperfections, more than the doubts she keeps tucked away. Older men, when they speak from grounded self-assurance, have the power to offer that kind of recognition. Their compliments often carry more depth because they come from a place of understanding, the kind that forms after years of observing, learning, failing, healing, and maturing. A woman instantly notices when a man compliments her with intention. She notices the calmness in his delivery, the thoughtfulness in his words, the sense that he isn't complimenting to impress her, but because he genuinely sees something admirable. There is also something profoundly respectful about the way an emotionally mature man compliments a woman. His tone doesn't rush, his words don't chase, and his intention isn't to possess. Instead, he acknowledges her humanity. He honors her existence. He affirms her individuality. And that creates an emotional safety she can lean into. But let's be clear. The compliments women love most are not about beauty, though beauty can be part of it. They love compliments that highlight the qualities they work hard to cultivate. Compliments that make them think, he noticed that. Compliments that validate the inner battles they fight quietly. Compliments that echo, "You are more than enough, exactly as you are." When an older man expresses appreciation for her mind, her discipline, her emotional intelligence, her ambition, her softness, her resilience, or her growth, she feels respected. She feels admired in a way that lasts longer than any fleeting moment. These compliments build trust. They create emotional resonance. They stay with her. And women love this not because of age difference, but because of emotional clarity, because of intention, because of depth, because older men who are grounded speak from authenticity, and that authenticity is magnetic. It is rare, it is powerful, and it is unforgettable. Compliments from older men carry a depth and emotional maturity that is often difficult to find in everyday interactions. This depth is not just about the words themselves, but about the experience and perspective that inform them. When an older man offers a compliment, it is rarely impulsive, superficial, or fleeting. It often comes from a place of observation, reflection, and understanding that only time and life experience can cultivate. The emotional maturity behind these compliments allows them to resonate on a level far deeper than surface-level flattery. Women, consciously or unconsciously, can feel the difference between words that are merely polite or performative and those that are intentional, heartfelt, and perceptive. This distinction is crucial because it shapes how she receives and internalizes the compliment, and it often leaves a lasting impression that transcends ordinary interactions. The depth in compliments from older men often emerges from the awareness of nuance. Younger individuals may focus on obvious qualities, beauty, style, or superficial achievements, but older men tend to recognize subtler aspects of a woman's personality, habits, or demeanor. They notice the quiet strength it takes to maintain composure in challenging situations, the patience required to nurture relationships, or the resilience demonstrated in overcoming personal obstacles. Their compliments are informed by the knowledge that life is rarely simple and that true value often lies beneath the surface. This recognition communicates to a woman that she is being seen for her authenticity rather than for what is immediately visible, and that acknowledgement itself carries a profound emotional significance. Emotional maturity in these compliments also involves a heightened sense of timing, delivery, and intention. Older men often understand that how a compliment is given is just as important as what is said. They are attuned to context, to tone, and to the unspoken signals that accompany communication. A compliment delivered with sincerity, calmness, and respect communicates authenticity far more effectively than a hurried or performative remark. Women can sense the subtleties in body language, eye contact, and vocal inflection, and these nuances can elevate a simple compliment into a moment of genuine connection. It is this awareness, born of experience and emotional intelligence, that often makes the words feel more meaningful and impactful. Another layer of depth comes from the avoidance of possessiveness or expectation. Older men, particularly those who have navigated various relationships and personal challenges, understand that a compliment does not need to be transactional. It does not need to be followed by a request, an obligation, or a hidden agenda. This freedom from expectation allows the woman to receive the compliment without defensiveness or skepticism. She can appreciate it for what it is, an acknowledgement of her qualities, her efforts, or her presence. This kind of compliment fosters a sense of respect and mutual understanding, creating an emotional resonance that is rare in casual social interactions. The substance of these compliments often extends beyond appearance to encompass qualities that are cultivated over time. Emotional intelligence, resilience, discipline, compassion, creativity, and wisdom are frequently recognized and affirmed. Older men have likely witnessed or experienced the challenges associated with developing such qualities, and therefore understand their significance. When a woman hears that her patience, insight, or kindness is noticed, she experiences a validation that is both rare and deeply satisfying. It signals that her efforts to grow and improve herself are not invisible, that her internal world is valued, and that she is appreciated in a holistic sense, rather than for fleeting, surface-level attributes. Moreover, compliments from older men often carry a reflective perspective. They are informed by a sense of history, not just personal history, but the observation of patterns in human behavior and relationships over time. This historical awareness allows them to provide insights that younger individuals may overlook. For instance, recognizing how a woman handles adversity or supports those around her reflects a long-term understanding of character and integrity. The compliment becomes less about immediate impression and more about a nuanced acknowledgement of her consistent qualities, her choices, and her impact. This reflective quality imbues the words with a richness that is difficult to replicate without life experience. Psychologically, women are drawn to this type of depth because it signals emotional safety. A compliment grounded in maturity communicates that the speaker is capable of empathy, patience, and genuine attention. It suggests that he can see beyond the superficial, that he values authenticity, and that he approaches relationships with thoughtfulness rather than impulsivity. The emotional resonance of such a compliment is enhanced because it reflects a recognition of her individuality, not as an object of admiration, but as a person with complexity, history, and depth. This recognition can evoke feelings of being truly seen and understood, which is a fundamental human need. The impact of these compliments is further magnified by the contrast they create with the majority of interactions women experience. In a world where flattery is often casual, performative, or motivated by ulterior motives, a compliment delivered with depth and maturity stands out sharply. It breaks through the noise of hollow praise and leaves a lasting impression precisely because it is rare and intentional. The woman receiving it is likely to remember the moment, the phrasing, and even the energy behind the words. The compliment, therefore, functions not only as recognition, but also as a subtle form of emotional connection, creating a memory of being genuinely valued and appreciated. Additionally, older men often possess a more nuanced understanding of boundaries, respect, and consent, which informs how they express admiration. A compliment is given without pressuring the woman, without expecting reciprocation, and without intruding into personal space. This attentiveness ensures that the interaction feels safe, dignified, and genuine. Women can relax into the acknowledgement rather than bracing for manipulation or insincerity. This sense of safety amplifies the impact of the compliment, making it not only emotionally meaningful but also psychologically reassuring. In essence, the depth and emotional maturity behind compliments from older men are multifaceted. They encompass insight, observation, intention, reflection, respect, and understanding, all delivered through a lens of emotional intelligence. Women intuitively recognize these qualities and respond to them with appreciation, connection, and a sense of being truly seen. The words are not simply heard, they are felt, internalized, and remembered. This kind of acknowledgement nurtures confidence, validates effort, and affirms individuality. Transforms an ordinary social interaction into a moment of resonance and emotional significance, illustrating the profound impact that sincere, mature communication can have in human relationships. Women value recognition of their character, effort, and growth over superficial praise because deep acknowledgement speaks to their inner world rather than just their outward appearance. From the earliest stages of life, women are conditioned to seek approval for what is visible, their beauty, charm, or compliance, but as they grow, they begin to understand that true validation comes from being recognized for their substance. Compliments that focus solely on appearance or fleeting attributes often feel hollow, ephemeral, or performative, whereas recognition of effort, character, and growth resonates on a more meaningful, lasting level. Women are inherently intuitive, and they can sense when a compliment reflects genuine observation versus when it is designed merely to impress or manipulate. This sensitivity makes them naturally attuned to the authenticity behind words, which is why recognition of deeper qualities carries such weight. Character is one of the core aspects that women value being recognized for. A woman's character encompasses integrity, honesty, empathy, courage, and the consistency with which she navigates life. Compliments that acknowledge her character convey an understanding that she is more than superficial traits, that her principles, decisions, and the way she treats others are seen and appreciated. For instance, recognizing her patience during challenging situations or her fairness in dealing with conflicts highlights that someone is noticing not just what she does, but how she does it. This kind of acknowledgement affirms that her core qualities, the traits that define her essence, are being noticed and respected. It validates the internal framework that guides her actions and decisions, which in turn fosters a deep sense of emotional satisfaction and confidence. Effort is another crucial aspect of recognition that women appreciate. Life requires constant effort. In personal development, career progression, maintaining relationships, and even in the small acts of daily responsibility. Compliments that focus on effort convey that someone sees the work she invests, the energy she expends, and the sacrifices she makes, even if the results are not immediately visible. When an older man compliments her for the discipline she demonstrates in her career, the dedication she shows to her passions, or the emotional labor she invests in nurturing relationships, it communicates that he values the process she undertakes and not just the end result. This type of acknowledgement reassures a woman that her diligence is meaningful, that the invisible layers of her work and commitment are not going unnoticed, and that her perseverance is admired. Growth is a third dimension that women deeply value recognition for. Women are constantly evolving, learning, and adapting, often facing both internal and external challenges that require resilience and courage. Compliments that acknowledge growth highlight the progress she has made, the lessons she has learned, and the strength she has developed over time. When someone notices that she has overcome past fears, improved her skills, or transformed through experiences, it signals that her journey is meaningful and that her personal development is visible to others. This recognition empowers her to continue striving for betterment, reinforces her self-worth, and affirms that the effort she invests in becoming a stronger, wiser, or more compassionate person is appreciated. Superficial praise, in contrast, often misses the mark because it focuses on what is immediately visible or culturally celebrated. Compliments about beauty, fashion, or temporary achievements can feel transactional, fleeting, or even patronizing if they are not grounded in genuine understanding. While no woman is immune to appreciating kind words, they rarely leave the same emotional imprint as recognition of qualities that reflect her inner life. Women seek validation that acknowledges the complexities of their existence, the balance of strength and vulnerability, ambition and empathy, independence and connection. Compliments that recognize these dimensions signal that she is being understood in a holistic, nuanced way, rather than being reduced to a single facet of her identity. The impact of recognizing character, effort, and growth is amplified by the sincerity and intentionality behind the compliment. Women are highly sensitive to tone, timing, and context, and they instinctively detect when words are authentic versus performative. A compliment that emerges naturally from observation and respect carries significantly more weight than one that is forced or designed to impress. When an older man recognizes her efforts, growth, or integrity, he communicates that he is attentive, reflective, and appreciative of substance, qualities that women instinctively value. This attentiveness conveys emotional intelligence, empathy, and a capacity for meaningful connection, which strengthens both the impact of the compliment and the trust between individuals. Recognition of character, effort, and growth also satisfies a deeper psychological need for validation. Women often contend with societal pressures, internalized doubts, and the invisible labor of navigating both professional and personal spheres. Acknowledgement of these qualities provides affirmation that her work, resilience, and values are significant, offering emotional reassurance that transcends the superficial. It signals that someone not only sees her externally, but also comprehends her journey, her intentions, and the challenges she has overcome. This form of recognition nurtures self-esteem, fosters a sense of worth, and encourages continued personal development, creating a positive feedback loop of motivation and confidence. Compliments that focus on character, effort, and growth also convey respect. They communicate that the speaker is willing to see beyond appearances and trivialities, to understand and value the woman as a complete individual. This respect creates an emotional safety that allows her to be authentic, vulnerable, and confident without fear of judgment. When a woman feels respected in this manner, she is more likely to internalize the compliment, appreciate her own qualities, and experience genuine emotional resonance. Furthermore, these types of compliments often have long-lasting effects because they touch on enduring qualities rather than temporary attributes. While appearance may fade and circumstances may change, character, effort, and growth are ongoing processes that define a person's essence over time. Compliments that honor these aspects contribute to a deeper sense of identity, affirmation, and self-recognition. They can inspire reflection, reinforce positive behaviors, and strengthen the emotional bonds between individuals by creating shared acknowledgement of meaningful qualities. The cumulative effect of being recognized for character, effort, and growth is profound. Women feel understood, appreciated, and validated in ways that superficial praise rarely achieves. Such compliments foster deeper connection, trust, and emotional resonance. They communicate that she is being seen in her entirety, her strengths, her struggles, her perseverance, and her evolution. Recognition in this form transcends the transactional nature of everyday social interaction and enters the realm of meaningful, human acknowledgement, leaving a lasting impression that is felt rather than merely heard. Sincere compliments create emotional safety and trust because they communicate authenticity, respect, and attentiveness in a way that goes beyond mere words. Emotional safety is a fundamental human need, and it is especially significant in interactions between women and men, where trust and understanding form the foundation of meaningful connection. A compliment, when delivered with sincerity, serves as a subtle but powerful signal that the speaker is capable of recognizing, appreciating, and valuing the person before them without ulterior motives or hidden agendas. This emotional safety allows women to receive the compliment fully, internalize it, and feel validated rather than skeptical or defensive. It creates a sense of reliability, indicating that the person offering the compliment can be trusted to observe and respond to her qualities with genuine regard, rather than manipulation or performative behavior. The concept of emotional safety is deeply intertwined with the perception of authenticity. Women are highly perceptive to inconsistencies, insincerities, or hidden intentions in social interactions. A compliment that is forced, generic, or delivered with ulterior motives can immediately trigger doubt or discomfort. On the other hand, a compliment that reflects careful observation, thoughtfulness, and truthfulness communicates authenticity. It signals that the speaker has paid attention to her actions, her character, or her growth, and has chosen to acknowledge them meaningfully. This authenticity serves as the first layer of emotional safety, reassuring her that the compliment is not a manipulation tactic or an attempt to gain favor, but a genuine acknowledgement of who she is. Trust is built when women perceive that the speaker's words align with their character and intentions. Compliments that foster trust do so because they are delivered consistently, thoughtfully, and respectfully. When a woman observes that an older man's admiration is grounded in sincerity, she begins to associate his presence with reliability and emotional stability. Over time, this consistent demonstration of honesty and attentiveness strengthens her confidence in his judgment and motives. She learns to trust not only the compliment itself, but also the broader context of his communication and behavior, understanding that his words are extensions of a character marked by integrity and consideration. The creation of emotional safety through compliments also relies heavily on tone, timing, and context. A sincere compliment is never rushed or casual in a way that diminishes its impact. Instead, it is often delivered with calm, deliberate intent that conveys thoughtfulness. Timing is crucial, a compliment offered in a moment of meaningful interaction when a woman has displayed strength, creativity, empathy, or resilience, reinforces its significance. Context matters as well. A compliment that acknowledges effort, patience, or emotional intelligence within a real-life situation resonates more powerfully than one that is abstract or vague. When these elements are combined, the compliment becomes a tool for cultivating a secure emotional environment, allowing her to feel appreciated without pressure, manipulation, or expectation. Respect is another critical component that contributes to emotional safety and trust. Women instinctively respond to recognition that comes without demands, possession, or judgment. When an older man offers a compliment that acknowledges her qualities without implying obligation or dependency, it communicates respect for her autonomy. This respect reinforces the sense that she can accept the compliment freely, internalize it, and respond to it on her own terms. The absence of coercion or expectation creates a safe emotional space, enabling her to feel seen and appreciated without compromising her agency. Sincere compliments also foster trust because they often reflect insight and observation rather than superficial judgment. When an older man notices subtle details about her perseverance, empathy, intellect, or emotional intelligence, it communicates that he is truly paying attention. He is not merely commenting on what is obvious or aesthetically pleasing, but recognizing qualities that require awareness, reflection, and understanding to perceive. This depth of attention signals that she can rely on him to notice the nuances of her personality, actions, and values. In turn, this strengthens the emotional bond by showing that he values substance over surface, authenticity over appearance, and the person as a whole, rather than just the image she presents. Women respond positively to compliments that communicate validation of their inner life and personal journey. Emotional safety and trust emerge most effectively when the compliment acknowledges experiences, effort, and growth that may not be visible to everyone. When someone validates the quiet struggles, disciplined choices, or consistent resilience she demonstrates, it reassures her that her authenticity and dedication are recognized and appreciated. This type of recognition is profoundly impactful because it communicates understanding, empathy, and appreciation for her complete self. It encourages openness and vulnerability, fostering a deeper, more trusting connection that transcends ordinary social niceties. Psychologically, trust is reinforced when compliments are free from ulterior motives or transactional undertones. Women are naturally attuned to cues that indicate whether praise is offered in good faith or as a means to an end. When a compliment comes with genuine intent and without expectation of reciprocity, it signals moral and emotional integrity. This integrity strengthens trust. as she can be confident that the acknowledgement is not contingent on future behavior or compliance. Instead, the compliment stands as an independent, thoughtful recognition of her value, reinforcing the perception that she is interacting with someone emotionally intelligent and reliable. Furthermore, the combination of emotional safety and trust nurtured through sincere compliments has long-term effects on how women perceive themselves and their relationships. Receiving acknowledgement in a respectful, authentic, and observant manner encourages self-confidence and reinforces positive self-perception. It validates her efforts, strengths, and personal qualities, making her feel appreciated beyond superficial characteristics. This process enhances her ability to trust others, open up emotionally, and cultivate meaningful connections. Over time, consistent exposure to this kind of recognition can influence her expectations and standards in relationships, shaping her understanding of what it feels like to be genuinely valued, understood, and respected. Compliments that create emotional safety and trust are also transformative because they establish a foundation for deeper communication and connection. When a woman feels safe and trusts that her qualities are being genuinely recognized, she is more likely to engage authentically, share her thoughts, and respond with emotional openness. This reciprocity strengthens relationships, facilitates empathy, and encourages mutual respect. The compliment, while seemingly small in isolation, becomes part of a broader dynamic of care, attentiveness, and genuine regard that defines emotionally healthy interactions. The subtle yet powerful impact of a sincere compliment lies in its ability to convey multiple layers of meaning simultaneously. It acknowledges her worth, validates her efforts, demonstrates attentiveness, and communicates respect, all while fostering an environment of safety and trust. Women intuitively perceive these layers, responding not only to the words but also to the emotional context, intention, and integrity behind them. This multifaceted resonance is what differentiates superficial praise from recognition that genuinely nurtures connection and trust. Over time, the cumulative effect of these sincere compliments contributes to the formation of secure, meaningful, and emotionally rich relationships. Women come to associate such interactions with reliability, understanding, and emotional stability. They feel safe to express vulnerability, celebrate achievements, and share personal experiences. The compliment, therefore, transcends its immediate function as praise and becomes a tool for cultivating long-term emotional security, mutual respect, and trust between individuals. Admiration of inner qualities resonates more than appearance-based compliments because it taps into the essence of who a woman truly is, rather than focusing on superficial or temporary traits. While physical attractiveness can catch attention and elicit initial appreciation, it rarely provides lasting fulfillment or emotional resonance. Women, especially those who have experienced diverse social and personal contexts, have learned that true connection arises when someone values their mind, heart, and character rather than just their outward appearance. Compliments that honor inner qualities communicate an understanding that she is more than what meets the eye, that her actions, values, and emotional depth are visible and appreciated. This form of acknowledgement creates a sense of being genuinely seen and respected, which is profoundly validating and emotionally nourishing. Inner qualities encompass a wide spectrum of attributes, including intelligence, emotional intelligence, resilience, empathy, integrity, creativity, patience, and wisdom. When an older man admires these traits, it demonstrates that he recognizes effort, self-awareness, and personal growth. For example, noticing how she navigates challenges, treats others with compassion, or approaches her ambitions with determination reflects a deeper level of observation and understanding. Compliments of this nature affirm that her contributions, choices, and the person she has become are valued. They also validate her experiences and struggles, signaling that someone perceives her beyond superficial layers and appreciates her complexity. Admiration for inner qualities also reinforces a woman's sense of self-worth and identity. Society often emphasizes physical appearance, social status, or outward success, creating pressures that can undermine confidence in intangible attributes like patience, empathy, or perseverance. Compliments that focus on inner qualities counteract this cultural narrative by highlighting strengths that are essential to character and personal growth, by recognizing qualities that require effort, awareness, and emotional labor. The compliment communicates that she is appreciated for who she is in a holistic sense, not just for how she looks. This acknowledgement fosters self-respect and encourages her to continue cultivating these traits. The impact of compliments focused on inner qualities is magnified by the intention and sincerity behind them. Women are perceptive to subtle cues that reveal authenticity. When admiration is expressed thoughtfully and without ulterior motives, it signals that the speaker has genuinely observed and reflected on her character. Older men, in particular, often have the life experience and emotional intelligence to convey such appreciation in a manner that feels grounded and deliberate. Their compliments are less likely to be impulsive or performative and more likely to communicate genuine acknowledgement. This intentionality enhances the emotional resonance of the compliment, allowing it to leave a lasting impression rather than being momentary or forgettable. Inner qualities are also enduring, unlike appearance-based attributes which may change over time due to aging, circumstances, or lifestyle. Compliments that focus on qualities like resilience, creativity, wisdom, and empathy acknowledge the foundation of her character, which persists and evolves throughout life. This enduring nature gives these compliments a timeless quality. When a woman is recognized for her inner strengths, it communicates that she possesses intrinsic value that does not depend on transient factors. Such acknowledgement creates a deeper, more meaningful emotional connection because it transcends superficial or temporary considerations. Another reason admiration of inner qualities resonates so deeply is that it often reflects a level of attentiveness and understanding. Recognizing her intellect, emotional awareness, or problem-solving abilities shows that the speaker pays attention to her behavior, choices, and impact on others. It signals that he is interested in understanding her as a whole person, rather than merely reacting to visual impressions. This depth of observation is inherently validating because it affirms that her efforts, values, and intentions are visible and significant. Women are particularly sensitive to the difference between shallow observation and attentive appreciation, making compliments that focus on inner qualities both meaningful and memorable. Compliments that highlight inner qualities also foster emotional intimacy and trust. When a woman feels recognized for her character, intelligence, or emotional depth, she is more likely to open up, share her thoughts, and engage authentically. This dynamic strengthens relationships by creating a sense of psychological safety where she can express herself without fear of judgment or superficial evaluation. The acknowledgement of inner qualities functions as a bridge, connecting two people on a level that transcends appearances and encourages mutual understanding and respect. The psychological impact of being recognized for inner qualities is significant. Such compliments affirm that she is not only noticed but also understood. They provide reassurance that her behaviors, decisions, and emotional investments have value, and that someone sees the meaning and effort behind them. This recognition can foster self-confidence, reinforce personal identity, and encourage continued growth. Women internalize these compliments as validation of their choices, their strengths, and their authenticity, which can have long-lasting effects on how they perceive themselves and their relationships. In contrast, appearance-based compliments, while often flattering, tend to be fleeting and surface level. They rarely encourage reflection, emotional resonance, or self-awareness. A compliment focused solely on looks may momentarily boost confidence, but it does not reinforce deeper qualities or contribute meaningfully to a woman's sense of self. Admiration for inner qualities, however, aligns with her desire to be recognized as a whole, multidimensional person. It communicates that her mind, heart, and character are valued, creating a sense of fulfillment that transcends transient physical attraction. Moreover, admiration of inner qualities demonstrates emotional intelligence on the part of the speaker. It reflects the ability to perceive, appreciate, and respond to the deeper aspects of another person's identity. This type of awareness is rare, and women are naturally attuned to it. When an older man compliments her intellect, kindness, or resilience, it signals that he has cultivated the capacity to see beyond appearances, understand complexity, and value substance. This recognition fosters a sense of respect and admiration not only for the complimented qualities, but also for the character and maturity of the person offering the compliment. Compliments that focus on inner qualities also contribute to meaningful and sustainable relationships. They create a foundation built on mutual respect, understanding, and appreciation of enduring traits. Women respond to this form of recognition by engaging more deeply, sharing their experiences, and reciprocating with trust and authenticity. By valuing her inner qualities, the speaker demonstrates that he is invested in who she is, at her core, rather than in transient or superficial aspects of her presentation. This approach fosters connections that are emotionally rich, resilient, and profoundly satisfying, elevating social interactions from casual admiration to genuine appreciation and emotional resonance. The process of acknowledging inner qualities also reinforces personal growth for both parties. By articulating admiration for her strengths, resilience, and wisdom, the speaker reinforces the importance of these traits and encourages their continued cultivation. Simultaneously, the woman feels seen, validated, and motivated to maintain and expand these qualities. This dynamic creates a cycle of positive reinforcement, mutual respect, and emotional enrichment. Compliments in this form serve not only as acknowledgement, but also as affirmation of shared values and recognition of human complexity, contributing to an ongoing exchange of respect, understanding, and authentic appreciation. Intentional, authentic words leave a lasting impact because they go beyond superficial acknowledgement and communicate genuine understanding, respect, and attentiveness. Words carry power, but their effectiveness depends on the intention behind them and the authenticity with which they are delivered. When someone speaks with purpose, thoughtfully choosing words that reflect their true perception of a person, the impact of those words is magnified. Women, in particular, are highly attuned to the subtle cues that signal authenticity, such as tone, timing, eye contact, and body language. They can immediately discern whether a compliment is sincere or performative, and this perception significantly influences how the words are received and internalized. Intentional, authentic words resonate because they are rooted in observation, empathy, and understanding, creating a lasting emotional impression. The difference between authentic and superficial words lies in the depth of awareness and attentiveness they convey. Superficial words often focus on obvious attributes like appearance or social status, offering temporary pleasure without meaningful acknowledgement. Authentic words, however, recognize qualities that require insight to observe and appreciate, such as resilience, emotional intelligence, creativity, kindness, determination, or integrity. By acknowledging these traits, the speaker communicates that they are truly seeing the person as a whole, not merely reacting to surface-level characteristics. This level of perception fosters a sense of validation and appreciation that is both profound and memorable. Intentionality in words means that the speaker is deliberate in choosing what to say and how to say it. It is not about using pre-rehearsed lines or generic compliments. It is about carefully observing and articulating a genuine recognition of qualities that matter. When older men offer compliments with intention, it reflects emotional maturity and thoughtfulness. The words are not thrown casually or for self-serving reasons. They are considered, meaningful, and purposefully conveyed to honor the person receiving them. This deliberate approach communicates respect and attentiveness, which enhances the emotional impact of the words. Women intuitively recognize this thoughtfulness, and it creates a feeling of being genuinely valued and understood. Authenticity, on the other hand, ensures that the words align with the speaker's true feelings and perceptions. Authentic words do not exaggerate, manipulate, or aim to impress artificially. They express what is genuinely observed and appreciated. This honesty builds credibility and trust, making the compliment far more impactful than one that is insincere or exaggerated. When a woman senses that the compliment reflects genuine recognition rather than a superficial attempt to please or charm, the words resonate deeply. The authenticity communicates that the speaker values her for who she truly is, rather than for a curated image or temporary appeal. Words that are both intentional and authentic leave a lasting impact because they create an emotional imprint. Unlike fleeting flattery, these words engage with a woman's internal world, affirming her efforts, character, and uniqueness. Compliments that highlight resilience, intelligence, empathy, or creativity reinforce her sense of self-worth and encourage continued personal growth. They provide validation for qualities that may not always be externally recognized, offering reassurance that her contributions, values, and inner strengths are visible and appreciated. This recognition fosters confidence and pride, leaving a memory that persists far beyond the moment the words are spoken. The lasting impact of intentional, authentic words is further strengthened by the context in which they are delivered. Compliments that coincide with moments of genuine effort, challenge, or vulnerability carry deeper significance. When a woman is acknowledged for navigating a difficult situation with grace or for demonstrating perseverance under pressure, the compliment validates not just the outcome but the process she underwent to achieve it. This type of recognition communicates that her journey, effort, and resilience are being seen, which enhances the emotional depth of the interaction and fosters a stronger sense of connection. Sincerity in words also nurtures emotional safety. Women are more receptive to compliments when they feel that the speaker is emotionally grounded, respectful, and free from ulterior motives. Authentic words delivered with intention signal that the speaker's admiration is genuine and not contingent on reciprocation or manipulation. This creates an environment where she can receive acknowledgement without suspicion or defensiveness. The emotional safety generated by these words allows her to internalize the compliment fully, experiencing the validation as a meaningful reflection of her worth rather than a fleeting comment. Intentional, authentic words also strengthen relational bonds by fostering trust. When a woman perceives that someone consistently communicates thoughtfully, honestly, and respectfully, she develops confidence in the speaker's character. Trust is reinforced by the recognition that the speaker observes, values, and respects her for her true qualities, rather than for superficial or self-serving reasons. Over time, these interactions contribute to a foundation of mutual understanding, respect, and reliability, creating the potential for deeper emotional intimacy. Another reason intentional, authentic words leave a lasting impact is that they are aligned with the recognition of enduring qualities. Unlike physical appearance, social status, or temporary achievements, inner traits such as empathy, resilience, creativity, and integrity are long-lasting and define a person's character. Compliments that honor these qualities carry a timeless significance. They communicate that the speaker values aspects of her identity that persist and evolve, reinforcing the perception that she possesses intrinsic worth beyond transient factors. This enduring acknowledgement creates an emotional resonance that remains with her, shaping her perception of herself and her interactions with others. The power of intentional, authentic words is also amplified by their ripple effect. When someone consistently uses language that acknowledges effort, character, and personal growth, it encourages self-reflection and inspires continued development. Women internalize the recognition, reinforcing positive behaviors and fostering confidence. Additionally, these words often model the type of communication that she may value in others, influencing the quality of interaction she seeks and appreciates. This ripple effect extends beyond a single moment, affecting relationships, self-perception, and emotional well-being over time. Intentional and authentic words also demonstrate emotional intelligence on the part of the speaker. They reflect the ability to perceive and understand not only the observable traits, but also the emotional, intellectual, and moral dimensions of a person. This level of awareness and sensitivity signals maturity, empathy, and depth. Women respond positively to this form of recognition because it communicates that the speaker is capable of understanding complexity, appreciating subtlety, and valuing substance over superficiality. The combination of insight, intention, and authenticity elevates the words from casual remarks to meaningful interactions that leave a lasting impact. Finally, intentional, authentic words resonate because they honor individuality. They communicate that the person being complimented is seen as unique, valued for their specific qualities, experiences, and strengths. Such acknowledgement reinforces identity, validates personal effort, and affirms growth. The words do not reduce her to a stereotype or a generalized category. They celebrate her distinctiveness, creating a profound sense of recognition and appreciation. This level of specificity and intentionality ensures that the impact of the compliment is deeply felt, memorable, and emotionally significant.